Absolute Duelist here, coming at you with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we are doing a ban list review. Talk about the cards that were forbidden, limited, unlimited, and all of the rest, because, well, Konami had released the ban list in the middle of Nationals and a YCS, so yeah, this video is a little late, so it's just how it is, right? But we have the ban list now. We're going to look at it. We're going to talk about my thoughts about some of the things they have banned, and just, you know, generally give you guys my thoughts and opinions on what things are basically hurt by this, what's going to happen, everything along those lines. So, starting off with the forbidden cards. As you can see in front of me, we can see that Cyberstein is banned, Super Heavyweight Samurai Scarecrow is banned, number 89 Diabolus the Mind Hacker is banned, a Pointer of the Red Lotus banned, and Branded Expulsion is banned. Now, these are 5 cards that some of them I didn't even expect to get hit. Now, obviously, I did say Diabolus was going to get banned in my predictions. I predicted that, got it right. Good days, happy days. But I thought they would ban Gimmick Puppet over Branded Expulsion, and I gave my reasoning behind it in the video of the predictions. But honestly, it could have been either or, and I am happy that Expulsion is gone. But because of, obviously, we've still got, you know, the Albion Dragon that can summon from the graveyard, well, this Branded Expulsion is still technically around, just in a fusion form. So be careful of that when you're playing against Branded. But the hits on a Super Heavyweight Samurai, though, now that one there confuses me a bit. Super Heavyweight Samurai just got their support, and honestly, them getting hit right now makes no sense. Like, what was the point in releasing the Prodigy and the Benkei if you're just gonna ban Scarecrow? Like, it made no sense to me when I saw this, and I was like, okay, so Super Heavyweight Samurai is incredibly weakened now, and you know what else? You know what else is weakened, guys? Like, guess what? Any engine or any deck that wants to use Super Heavyweight Samurai as an engine, such as Adamantipator or Kashtira like I was doing, or Sword Soul like my friend is doing, any of these decks that want to play that engine now can't really utilize the engine to its full extent, because you need Scarecrow to get the free summon, so you don't have to waste your normal summon. So it's just a very upsetting feeling seeing that this card just gone for no reason. Like, maybe put it to 1, I guess, so you can't continuously live it, but banning it, I felt like that was a bit much, if you get what I mean. Cyberstein, this is kind of just going back from 2019 when it got unbanned. It goes back because it basically made degenerate FTKs. It allowed you to go ahead and summon like any branded extract monster. They were summoning literally Dragoons off of this card. It was used in the Heavyweight Samurai deck, so you could puppet lock in that. Makes sense to be banned for that one as well. And a Pointer of the Red Lotus, literally, this went to 1, then we got Thrust, so they were just setting this off Thrust anyway, so banning it makes complete sense to me, just for the fact that, oh, it's banned now, you don't have to deal with that crap, and yeah, they can't get free knowledge of looking at your hand, they don't get free knowledge of the game, they don't get to remove a thing that you could potentially use to, you know, actually be able to play the game through their board. Makes sense why this card was hit. Now, just from this ban section alone, I'm going to say Branded is still really strong. It doesn't need Expulsion, so it's fine for this deck to still go on, and Branded is still going to be great. Diabolus, it's a big hit to Kashtira, but Kashtira is still going to be very strong. Scarecrow, I think Scarecrow is going to be a massive hit to Super Heavyweight Samurai. I don't know if the deck can still, you know, play properly without it. It's a really upsetting hit. And then Cyberstein and the point out, we don't really have any damage report for that, you know, because like these decks don't really deal with that. So like a lot of different decks could be playing them, so it's just like this is just a side deck card, and this is just anything that can go into anything. And also just a note for you guys, this is the first ban list I think where you've had 2 prize cards banned at once, because Cyberstein and Diabolus are both actual prize cards for big events. So just an interesting little fact that 2 prize cards were banned at once. So let's go ahead and go on to the semi-limiteds now. So, semi-limiteds, we have Blaster, Dragon Roller Infernals, Mathmech Circular, Cyframe Gear Gamma, Denglong the First of the Yang Xing, Kashtira Rise Heart, Pearly Delicious Memory, and Naturia Sacred Tree. Now, this is a very, very big limited section. First of all, Blaster. This card could come back ages ago. It's not going to break the game. It's fine at 1. Honestly, every Dragon Ruler, other than maybe Redox, could come back to 1 and there would be no issues. Absolutely fine. Mathmech Circular. Mathmech they are still playable, but this, oh, I am so happy to see this on the Mathmech side. Like, just having a 1-card starter that leads to the ability to discard a card from your hand, send 2 cards from your board to the graveyard, and also have an Omni Negate. Nah, I'm good with that. And also just being able to send for cost for free summons, going to access code talker equal OTKs. Like, Circular did way too much for Mathmex, and going to 1, I am fine with. It's still playable, don't get me wrong, because you can still obviously go ahead and search it with like Small World and stuff, but the consistency of the deck goes down just a smidge, and I'm very happy about that. Gamma, I don't know what to say. Konami thinks the card is good. I don't like the card. I'm happy it's at 1 nonetheless, because of I know I don't have to play around it, and it makes my life a bit easier, right? But like, honestly, Gamma, I guess it needed to go to 1. Like, it was preventing you from basically, like, it was a card that prevented you from preventing your opponent, which is a really weird thing, because it's like Called by the Grave, for instance. Called by the Grave is at 1 because it's a card that lets you play turn 1 without worrying, and Gamma, in a lot of instances for stuff like Pearly and stuff, did the same thing. So yeah, Sideframe Gear Gamma, it's an interesting card that I don't know really why it should go to 1. It's not as good as Called by, but it's just a card that can prevent you from preventing your opponent, so I guess going to 1 makes sense, but I'm happy it's a 1. I don't really care. Denlong, First of the Yang Zing. Now, this is a scary return in the game, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, this card essentially in any deck that can make a level 5 synchro is technically an Omni Negate. So what this card does is, on summon, it can go ahead and search any Yang Zing card from the deck, right? So it searches 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing, so you're able to destroy the Denglong during your opponent's turn when they activate a card to have a counter trap negate, right? That's the whole point of the card. Now, I don't know how I feel about it going to 1. I think it's fine, possibly. I don't know if it'll really break the game without 1, but it's interesting to see that Konami brought back this, especially seeing as it's essentially the same as Ibli, the Ib Synchro. But yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. I feel like it's going to probably see play in something like Sword Soul or something along those lines, but it's definitely interesting. Now, Kashtira Rise Heart. This one surprised me. Kashtira Rise Heart has only been out for a couple of months, and Konami have literally said, nah, this card needs to go to 1, and I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't kill Kashtira, but it does certainly weaken them, because being someone who has been playing Kashtira this format, the second Arise Heart comes up a lot. So with only 1, I don't know how good that will change the deck or how much it will affect the deck overall. I think Kashtira is still going to be a very strong deck, don't get me wrong, because you can still revive this with stuff like the Kashtira Trap card, which I'm going to be playing now with like Ogre, so I can go ahead and revive this if it doesn't get banished, or I banish it myself. But it is definitely an interesting card to see get limited, and I'm curious to see where it's going to go from here. Now, next is actually another one that I really don't think should have been limited, and that's Pearly Delicious Memory. Now, I understand why this card is limited. Like, it's essentially the one that makes Plump, that allows you to go ahead and get 4 materials under it, and then you just need to equip 1 more, and essentially then you get to go ahead and make Noir with 5 materials, right? That makes a lot of sense. But Pearly haven't actually had that much time in the spotlight. They only just got Sleepy Memory and Lily, so hitting it now when the deck's only just getting on its feet, it's really, really bad. Like, it's not really fair to hit decks that have just gotten their footing, and doing that here, I just don't think that's a good thing for the game, right? Like, it's just not that good. So I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like it's not a good look for the game, and definitely it's not good for any of the Pearly players, right? Like, you're losing 2 Delicious Memory, you can't just refill 3 off your friends to be able to make Plump turn 1. It makes your turn 1 play a lot harder, and I just don't think that was fair from the deck. And then Naturia Secretary, I called this going to 1 straight away. This card deserved to go to 1. It was not once per turn. It allowed the deck to summon multiple times. Naturia needed a check, and you know what? Everybody out there who said I was wrong, it's not going to get limited, guess what? It got limited. I knew this was going to happen. It had to happen. So yeah, that was a thing. So for semi-limits. Now for semi-limits, we have Herald of Orange Light, Kashtira Unicorn, Lightning Storm, Runic Fountain, Mobilize Engage, and Sprite Starter. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't expect a lot of this to happen. Now, the things here that I see, I did call getting hit. I called Runic Fountain going to 1, I called Sprite Starter going to 1 as well. Konami chose not to do that and chose to put them both at 2 instead. Don't think that really solves the issue, you know, because now these two decks are still really strong. It doesn't hurt them much. It does hurt the consistency a bit of Sprite, but Fountain to 2 is essentially pointless. I don't think they ever played more than 2 Fountains to begin with, so you essentially did nothing by putting that to 2. And Star, it's not going to change the deck. The deck is still super consistent, so it is what it is, right? Something I did call though was Kashtira Unicorn to 2. This was definitely going to happen in my opinion. Like, this had to go to 2. Like, you need to hit the consistency of Kashtira because it's just a deck that's super consistent. So hitting Unicorn to 2 made complete sense. But things that I don't understand here is, why is Lightning Storm at 2? Because not a lot of people are actually playing it right now. Why is Orange Light at 2? Because this is essentially allowing what? The Shizu tier players to come back into the game a bit with their 4 fairy monsters, or you're allowed to now have the Gamma essentially in Drytron again because you can play some fairies with like the Ben 10s and the Eda 10 and the level 5 ritual that can go ahead and steal opponents' monsters. I forgot the name. Like, Herald of Orange Light is essentially Gamma in that deck. And then the thing that really bothers me the most about this semi-limited section is Sky Striker Mobilize Engage is semi-limited. I don't like that. I really do not like how Mobilize Engage is at 2. Like, look at it this way, guys. Engage is essentially Pot of Greed. It's a card that adds 2 cards from your deck to your hand. It searches any card you want, then it draws a card. That is absolutely insane. And it's not once per turn, so you can recycle it multiple times. You can get negates with it, you can get free monsters with it, you can get so much with Engage. And it's just stupid how this card is back at 2. Like, will it really break Sky Strikers? I don't know, but I could honestly see the Sky Strike engine popping back up again and being absolutely insane. So yeah, I am a bit worried about how Engage is 2 again, but hey, that's just my fault. But like, the semi-limited section definitely helps stuff like Drytron and Ishizu tier again. Runic and Sprite didn't get hit hard enough, so they're still going to be really strong decks. Lightning Storm, why are you here? No one was really playing you. And then Kashtira Unicorn, I called it, so I knew it was going to go to 2. Right, and finally, for Unlimiteds, we have Steam the Cloak, Gen X Ally Birdman, Samsara Lotus, Spiral Quick Fix, Lyrilusk Reciting Starling, Draco Face Off, and Multi-Roll. So, right off the bat, we can see Tuners coming back to free. We see Steam the Cloak going back to free. Lucky Firebrex is banned, so that makes sense. Samsara Lotus was part of some FTK, and that's why it was originally banned. So I don't really know too much about that outside I knew it was part of an FTK. So seeing that come back to free is interesting. Birdman, now that is an interesting one because this has synergy to return cards on the board back to your hand. So I'm curious to see what kind of degenerate things come out of that. And Quick Fix, this is fine in my opinion as well. Like, Quick Fix, like with drones at 1, and I'm pretty sure Master Plan is still banned, Spiral is not really gonna do much, so Quick Fix at 3 I think is fine. It shouldn't do anything. Reciting Starling 2 is essentially the same as free with this kind of card, so yeah, it can come back to free. Draco Face Off as well. Like, this is a card that I've been thinking for the longest time didn't need to be limited, and now we have it back. And you know what, I'm still gonna say Pendulum is bad. You know why? Because the deck just doesn't have Electromite. It needs Electromite, so what are you gonna do about it? But, and then the last card here, Multi-Roll to free. This worries me a bit because they brought Engage to 2 and Multi-Roll to 3. That means that Sky Striker have 2 Engage and the ability to recycle all of their spell cards at the end of the turn, and if you remove Multi-Roll, they can just do it again, right? So it's a bit worrying to see that multi-role is free again. Like, it seems that Sky Striker is slowly creeping back to full power now, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, I'm not saying Sky Striker would be the best deck if it did get everything back, but like, you gotta understand, Sky Striker is one of those decks that it's a really strong control deck. It's all spell cards, so you can use them whenever you want. It's got access into recovery, OTK potential, and it's just a really, really insane deck, especially from back in the Eternal format or TOS format, whatever it's called. And like, it really is just hard to say what will happen if Sky Striker comes back in the format we're currently in. So yeah, I'm a bit worried about that. I don't know how exactly this would go down, but we're gonna have to wait and see, because obviously Sky Striker, it's getting all of its cards back at this point, and it's really interesting to see. But guys, that is the entire ban list. This ban list is effective from the 5th of June, so you have time to prepare a bit. There is one more locals week before we actually do get to have this list in effect, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But yeah, guys, this is all I have for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts are on the ban list. Do you think a lot of these changes will change the game? Do you think any FTKs will come about? Do you think Sky Striker is going to be the best deck again? Tell me all your thoughts about that in the comment section below, and tell me what you're going to be playing this format. I will have a top 5 best decks coming out soon as well, most likely, because this format's going to be interesting, and honestly, I think one of the best decks is probably going to be Labyrinth. So we're going to see what happens. I'll see you guys in the next one. Absolute Duelist signing out. Later all.